So until you master the concept I'm going to teach you in this video, you may find that when you train your back, you do the exercise, you do the pulling exercise, and you actually get a feeling of like soreness here. This is bulging and really tight, but not so much down here. And you also find your biceps also get burnt out very, very easy. Now that is common, very, very common. When my back used to look like this, I would get that all the time and I couldn't wrap my head around why. So this video, I'm gonna just teach you the anatomy and how the back works so we can put the effort, because I know you're putting the right effort into training. I know you're putting the effort in. I know you're going to the gym. I know you're probably training back twice a week. If I can perfect that effort into the right areas, it's going to blow. That's all I've done, and my lats have blown up, and they're probably one of my best features. Like, we can add some real, like, untapped potential for a lot of guys is this round here, the lower portion of the lats. I'm going to show you a great exercise, which you're really going to enjoy doing so. So, that was the problem I used to have. This would get burnt out, biceps would get burnt out. They still weren't that big. But I really did struggle to put some tissue onto my back. And it used to annoy me, and I used to find it quite complicated. And do you also find that you just get like a dull feeling, like just a dull ache in your back? Same with when you're doing the upper back T-bar rows, and you just don't really feel any contraction. Like with a bicep curl, it's obvious. You pull the arm up, you feel the curl in the bicep. But the back, I never used to be able to feel it. I could not wrap my head around why. Until I literally just started to break down and understand like the anatomy of the lats for starters. Obviously, going on to upper back and traps we can do that in another video. But when we look at this, when we look at the lats, we want to understand the two things really. Because when you understand this, and it does make sense, but I don't think people know and apply it. Where does the lats originate? So they originate from just up here, just above where your hip bone is. And as you know, they run like this, all the way up here, and they insert onto your humerus. Obviously, it looks a bit weird because you've got the rear delt in the way at the minute, but they insert onto your humerus. So the origin point is here, the insertion point is here. Now, if we ever want to train a muscle, what we're trying to do? We're trying to bring the origin and the insertion together, and that's what's going to get us the contraction in the middle. So we need to think logically like, okay, well, how can we contract these two muscles together, or this one big muscle, sorry, together from these 2 points? So there's many exercises we can do. I'm going to give you 3 good solid exercises that I recommend you do that will really, really add some good girth to your lats. We're going to roll straight into them right now, boys. Okay, we're going to work from the bottom to the top. So I want you to only think about targeting this lower portion here, because I appreciate people don't really know how to target this lower portion. So I'm going to give you a very good exercise on how to do so. So we're going to do what's known as a lower lat cable row. Look at the way this is set up. So you've got the bench that's in reverse facing the cable stack, a decent distance away, enough that when you have your arms straight in the lengthened position, there's daylight on the cable stack. The cable stack is set up in line with your arm, that is going to be in line with your elbow, that's going to be driven back in towards that back pocket. Now, as you perform this movement here, what is critical is when you pull, you don't pull from the hands. Because if you pull from the hands, you're going to flex from the elbow, the bicep's going to get burnt. I want you to picture dragging that elbow backwards. The hand will move automatically. It has to. So you're going to drag the elbow into the back pocket of your, like where your shorts are essentially. So you're going to drag back, squeeze for a second. As you come back out, just finish in this position here. And the reason I say that is if you go any further forward, the tension's going to come off the lat and it's going to go onto the shoulder. Of course it is. As you're also doing it, you're trying to picture wrapping the lat back around the lower portion of the back. And I tell you now, if you've never done this exercise before, you are going to get a contraction like no other. It is fucking insane. Another thing we can look at is the position of the hand. You'll notice so this is supination, pronation. It's in slight like semi-supination because that just allows for the arm path to move how we want it. If you start with it like this, you will pull out and wide and you won't get the contraction. You want to wrap the elbow towards the lat, not it coming away. You may have machines like this in your gym. The really dog shit ones are created so that they pull outwards. Any back exercise that goes outwards, maybe unless it's for an upper back T-bar row, garbage. If it's for a lat, if it's a pull down or it's a lower lat row, absolute garbage. If it goes away from the body, it wants to go towards. And you may need to slightly angle yourself off so you can then drive that elbow to the hip. And then the last thing I'll say is look at the position of the torso. That shouldn't change. Sternum slightly up, but relatively straight. This arm here is what's going to support you to do so. And of course, as always, take it to fucking failure. Absolutely fucking send it. Grind, 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 grind. And it's at that point that this arm really does come in here. This stays up. You could say lean back a little bit, drive your feet into the floor, wrap that lat around the back and just fucking trash that lower portion of the lat. So that is exercise number 1. Okay, exercise number 2. This one will make probably even more sense to you. We are literally doing what we've just spoke about with the origin and the insertion, and we're going to bring the two of them together. The same principle is going to apply, but now we are directly underneath the pulley system and we're going to drive that elbow down towards the hip and the back pocket, keeping the arm as close to the body as you possibly can. You'll notice people when they do like wide arm pull-ups and pull-downs, your elbow's out here. You're not going to be able to get your elbow as far down to the back pocket, which means are you going to be able to shorten the lat as much? Probably not. So this is how this is going to look. Again, dragging the elbow down towards the hip, slowly coming out. Keeping the tension on at the top here. Again, don't let it come off onto the shoulder. Squeeze for a second, slowly bring it down. This arm is here to support, and even more so now, you want to make sure that chest stays up. And that's one of the biggest failings people do on any form of pull-down exercise. To get the movement down, which is not the goal, they'll end up caving their chest in. Now, if you cave your chest in now and try to pull, are you going to be able to shorten the lat properly? No, of course you're not. So you need to keep that sternum up. That's the key cue throughout. The sternum faces the mechanism that you're pulling from. The back stays straight. Everything else is locked in. And again, load this quite heavy. For those two exercises, do a heavy set of like 8 to 12 and then 2 back off sets, 15 to 20. Your back will start to blow if you're doing that twice a week. Nice and controlled all the way through. Drive, 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 drive. Cool. So that is the next exercise we're going to show you. Okay, next one we've got is a basic lat pull down. Very, very good exercise. Quite underrated and butchered quite heavily. When you do this, get yourself quite close into the pad and don't lean back so far. I'm telling you to keep your sternum up, facing the mechanism. I'm not telling you to lean really far back. I mean, if you've got poor mobility, lean back a little bit, but you've got to think, we're trying to pull downwards. We're not trying to pull like backwards and downwards because then it ends up being a bit like a row. With a pull down, try and find a tool that is around your shoulder width apart, because going back to the same principle, we don't want our arms and elbows out, let's say where these poles were, because you're just not going to get that shortening of the lat. Whereas if you can find a smaller tool that, well, it fits your structure, you'll be able to get a better contraction. As well, when you pull, try to imagine pulling the mechanism, the bar, down towards your sternum instead of just towards the chest. It's a poor angle, so you're not really going to be able to see that from this video, but do try to picture that. And again, with this, you're now thinking, hands are just connected to the tool. I'm trying to pull both of my elbows towards my back pocket, and that's what's going to shorten the lat. Beauty of this one, loadable, very loadable, maybe more loadable than the single arm ones. And you really are like locked in, so just get as much load as you can when you do this. Absolute lights, a heavy like 6 to 8, and then go up from there. And yeah, don't butcher this exercise. Fucking send it. And then once you've progressed from this, you can then move on to something that's going to work even better. And that is going to be the weighted pull-up. Every man should want to be striving towards that weighted pull-up. When you're doing the pull-ups, try to keep that arch in the back and the chest up here. And this is really going to hit the muscle as well in the lengthened position here. Like when you're under that full tension and stretch and you've got the load, lats are getting fucking beaten up on that day. Let me tell you that for free. So what you could do is, you could do this, and this is what I do on my pull. So I train pull twice a week. Day one is the single arm pull down, and also we do the lat pull down as well. Then on the other day I do this, and I also do the lower lat row, and then obviously 2 separate exercises for the upper mid back area. But yeah, this is good. This is challenging. Fox the forearms, hard on the grip. So yeah, work up to this. Get yourself on a lat pull down until you can do your body weight quite well, and then work your way up to this. And before you know it, you'll be doing this for fucking 50 kilo, looking like an absolute beast. And then that correlates into this next exercise, which you're going to enjoy, the muscle up. So you can go into random parks and just do loads of muscle ups, and you can do them with my technique like a bodybuilder. Look at that. Zero, like if a CrossFitter saw this, he would turn in his fucking grave, even though he's not dead. But look, there's no technique to this. There's just all strength. I'm just strong enough to just pick myself up and throw it around a bar. I've made a video on how to do a muscle up, but essentially you just row your chest up to the bar and then do a tricep dip. Row chest to the bar, tricep dip. And then that leads on to one more exciting bit, which if you've watched this far into the video, I'm going to show you now. Pull-ups with fucking chicks on your back. That's the end goal of why we do all this, isn't it, boys? No, I'm not joking, but I just thought I'd show you a fucking funny video if you've got this far into the video, because why not? It keeps it all exciting. So that is how you're going to train your back. I would do, as I said, you want to train your back twice a week, or your lats we're speaking about specifically. Do them twice a week. Do those 4 movements, separated across 2 separate sessions. Remember, you're trying to get the origin insertion together. The chest needs to stay up, humerus down towards the back pocket of the lat, and you won't go that far wrong, boys. And your back, honestly, it will really start to blow once you connect with it. You really will start to notice the difference. So I hope you found this useful. If you did, hit the subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.